Hello? Hello?
Podcast Network Asia. Welcome to the show. If this is your first time, then welcome. I hope you enjoyed this episode. If you do, go ahead and check out the other amazing episodes that we have here on Small Talk. If this is your nth time, if you're an avid listener of the podcast, and welcome back. I'm just so excited that you are here. And mainly, I'm so excited today because I have a very, very special guest. Our guest is one of the people that instantly rose to the top when it came to podcasting. And I'm just so excited to try to get more insights from this guy. Our guest for today is an artist, an illustrator, a digital content creator with over, I'm sorry, I'm not sure with this, 600,000 followers. What's like the total number of your followers?
I guess right now it ranges from almost a million now.
A
already.
million.
Yeah,
Crazy.
yeah,
A million followers on social media.
yeah.
His artwork includes the infamous yellow character that people absolutely love. And of course, he is a fellow podcaster and he hosts one of the top podcasts in the Philippines, which is also a Spotify exclusive. And that podcast is none other than Yellow Space. Let's all welcome to the show, Tol.
Yeah.
Tol is your name, right? Where did you start with this name? How did Tol come up in your life?
So before anything else, hi, it's your Yellow Guy Tol here, and welcome to the Small Talk with Alec Cuenca. And of course, thank you for inviting me in this show. And ayun, magandang umaga, magandang hapon, magandang gabi sa lahat na nakikinig sa amin sa podcast na ito. And balik tayo sa tanong ni Alec na if bakit Tol? Bakit nga ba Tol? Out of all the pwede kong ipangalan sa page ko, sa podcast ko, or to refer to me, bakit Tol? There's actually a reason behind that. Me kasi growing up, hindi ako ganun ka-close sa mga brother ko. And basically, di ba, ang term na Tol is a slang or is another term pag tinatawag natin yung brother. Kumbaga Tagalog, Tagalog word siya na, uy Tol, ganyan, uy pre, parang ganun siya. And I called my content or my character, my OC, my original character as Tol. It's because I want to give that love that has been deprived of me.
Mm-hmm.
Kumbaga, gusto ko iparamdam sa ibang tao yung hindi ko naramdaman na love. Which is that kind of brotherly love, that consistent, unconditional love from your brother. And I feel like kaya rin siya tumunog, kaya rin siya nag-pop out of nowhere. It's because, lalo na nag-pandemic, lalo na nitong around 2019, 2020, up until this day, feeling ko ang daming tao na it needs that kind of love, that kind of care to remind them na, hey, your emotions are valid. Hey, I'm just here. Kumbaga, yun yung wala tayo that time. That someone to remind us of how our worth is and how we lack this, basically, love. That kind of love.
Yeah, I love that. I think most of the content creators that rose up during the pandemic had that kind of vision.
Yeah.
You know, we're just basically trying to help our own selves along the process, and then
Exactly.
surprisingly, people can resonate and connect with that.
Mm.
But you kind of mentioned that Tol basically is your name because you were kind of deprived of that love when you were growing up.
Yeah.
So can you dive a little bit about how did you know, or what kind of love did you not get when you were growing up?
I think it's me being distant, or it's not me being distant. It's just that we have this. We are not in a feud. Wala kaming away or
Mhm.
anything. It's just that we do not connect. I have these brothers and sisters. Of course, I love them. I love them, but in a way that as I was growing up, I always seek from that love from them, which is, I think, dapat given na eh. Dapat given na siya.
Mhm.
But I always seek from it. I always chase it. But I feel like parang one day na-realize ko na, why would I chase from something na dapat binibigay naman sa akin?
Mhm.
And ayun, noong una nalulungkot ako, and then I just got to matured and accept the fact na maybe we'll be distant na lang talaga for some quite time. Pero, and I'm not giving up on the fact na I want to get back on them. I want to give them the love na dineprive nila sa akin. And I'm not going to dive deeper na on the details kung bakit ganon. Pero, feeling ko kaya rin nag-resonate yun, kaya rin nag-connect yun sa mga listener ko, sa mga viewer ko, is because Um, Maliban sa brotherly love, maliban sa sibling love, parang yun talaga yung nawala sa atin yung essence ng love nung pandemic. Kumbaga, nung times na we are alone, we are trying to give that kind of care to ourselves. We are trying to give that kind of validation to ourselves. Pero tulad nga ng sinasabi ko palagi, parang ang hirap kapag sa sarili mo na binibigay yun. Ang
Mhm.
hirap kapag sa sarili mo na pinaparamdam yung pagmamahal na hinahanap mo sa iba. Kumbaga sa ibang tao, ang dali-dali mo mag-care, ang dali-dali mo mag-advise. Pero may in-advise ako na may isa akong phrase na sinabi na na madalas yung advice na binibigay natin sa ibang tao, madalas yung love na binibigay natin sa ibang tao, yun yung hindi natin kayang ibigay sa self natin.
Mhm.
Yun yung hindi natin kayang sabihin sa sarili natin. That's why ayun, nandito ako to remind our listeners right now, sa lahat ng nakikinig sa amin na, ayun, if you cannot remind yourself, at least be kind to yourself na lang. Ayun.
I love that. Thank
Yeah.
you so much for sharing that. What I got from what you were saying, Una, is basically it's like this quote na be the person you needed when you were younger,
Yeah.
right? And so
Exactly.
as we were growing up, we were kind of asking love in a lot of places, and apparently we didn't get all of them. But that doesn't mean that we are not deserving of the love. That doesn't mean that we don't deserve the love, that kind of love that we are asking. But basically, we can't really force people to like love us, right?
Exactly.
But we can. I think that's a really healthy way to respond to that kind of situation. Okay, I didn't get that, but I'll still give it. I'll try to give it to myself, and I'll give it to others as well. And then you mentioned how hard it is, right? And I completely agree with that.
Mhm.
Um, as a content creator that speaks about mental health and love, self love, and all of those stuff that we talk about online, we basically talk about it because
Mm.
these are the things that we needed to hear as well,
Yeah.
right? So it's a reminder to ourselves, but at the same time, we're just so happy that a lot of people are with us. I think the whole point of putting out content is to just try to connect with people
Mhm.
and on a deeper level. And I think that's one thing that you've been able to do, being able to connect with people on a deeper level. But I want to ask, did you even plan or what was the process or the thought process when it came to that original character, si Tol? Did you really did that on purpose? Na okay, a lot of people would connect to this, and I'm gonna do this. What's like the thought process on that?
And ayun, gusto lang muna i-connect from what have you said na yun din yung na-realize ko as I was helping myself. Hindi ko na papansin na I was helping a lot of people na pala. Na ang dami ko na palang nakokonektahan, ang dami na palang nakaka-relate. And going back to your question na what was my thought process, paano ko siya pinrocess yung original character ko na si Tol. Actually, the color yellow was inspired by the sunlight I saw on that dark, long night, which I was just breaking down.
Mhm.
Kumbaga, ano yun naalala ko kasi nung pandemic, madalas natutulog ako around 6 a.m. na 5 a.m. na. Madalas sinisikatan na ako ng araw. And I was really at loss that time. I was really a mess. And what I can say is I was really trying to find something or a sign for me to para bumangon ulit ako, para magkaroon ulit ako ng motivation. Kasi kahit sabihin mo yung sarili mo na kumbaga kahit i-motivate mo yung sarili mo, if yung body mo hindi nagre-respond, and vice versa, kung yung body mo naman nagre-respond, and if hindi mo kaya i-motivate yung sarili mo, walang mangyayari. And then I saw this sunlight, and the color was yellow. And I took that as a sign for me to create again, for me to start again. Kasi before I created Tol, I was an illustrator. I used this pen and ink artworks for me to express what I feel. And then ang layo nga from traditional pen and ink artworks to digital artworks, which the only tool I had that time was my phone. Was my phone lang and basically my finger for me to draw in my phone. Yeah. And kumbaga for me to utilize, for me to maximize what I had that time. And I created this. I remember my first content was like, it goes like this na, there's this yellow guy called Tol, and parang sinulatan ko lang yun ng quote na, hindi biro ang pagkakaroon ng mental health problem. I was just really trying to express what I feel that time kasi that's me validating myself.
Yeah.
Na, hey, what you feel right now is serious. This is not a joke. And I was not expecting for people to see it. I was not chasing clout, basically.
Mhm.
And after nun, I just get like 10 likes, 10 shares. Kumbaga, sobrang saya ko na dun eh. For,
Yeah.
di ba, you remember the first time you
Yeah.
gained this kind of viewership, parang
Yeah.
iba sa feeling. And then, yeah, kumbaga, ang sarap pala sa feeling, no? Ang sarap pala sa feeling nang hindi ka lang nakapag-express, kundi na-express mo rin yung words na hindi kayang sabihin ng viewers mo.
Mhm.
Yun yung laging sinasabi nila sa akin na, Tol, you say the words we cannot phrase, we cannot rephrase, hindi namin kayang sabihin. And then, as I continue, nag-focus ako sa mental health stuff until nag-grow siya na nag-grow, hindi ko na napapansin. And one day, I posted this content na ang sinabi ko naman dun, again, this is me talking to myself na sana bumalik yung gana. Sana bumalik yung
Mm.
motivation mo for you to work again, for you to go back to your passion. And then, that blew up. That post blew up. And was like, the reacts 50K, the shares were like 100K, and that was the start of the spark of Tol. Kumbaga, doon na ako nag-start talagang, okay, I took that as a motivation. Kumbaga, yung na-receive kong recognition from people gave me another thing, gave me another reason for me to continue. And looking back, it wasn't easy. It wasn't easy making this content daily,
Mhm.
consistently. Lalo na if yung pinanghugutan mo rin if yung nanghugutan mo rin is yung life experiences mo. And ang galing lang, like you, a content creator as well, na ang hirap kaya mag-isip ng content, ang hirap maging authentic, ang hirap mag-express. Pero, grateful lang din ako sa mga tao tulad natin, sa mga taong tulad mo, that speaks for themselves. And not only actually for themselves, but for the people who cannot speak themselves.
I love
And
that.
ayun yung naging process ko, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's a really interesting story because well, it really just started with the sunlight, right?
Yeah.
It's just the ray of sun, which is something that we see every single day.
Mhm.
But again, we kind of looked at it in a different light, in a different perspective, and see now, okay, maybe this is a sign or something
Yeah.
that we need to keep going. We need to move forward. But I love that you were already creating content, right?
Yeah.
So you got like minimal likes and views and shares and engagements. And then at one of your problems and issues, you shared it online.
Yeah.
Parang, it's one of your questions and you put it out there
Yeah.
with nothing, no answer, not trying to find the answer. But that was the moment that you basically sparked on Facebook. And I just want to appreciate how vulnerable you are
Yeah.
in those
that's
kinds
right.
of moments. And are you not having, or I want to ask this earlier, when it comes to creating content, thinking about the post that you share, do you just wait for it, or how do you, for example, because now we're doing it on a consistent basis,
Yeah.
right? We need to do it. Before we just did it anytime we wanted, but right now I think we have a responsibility. Okay, I need to post, and there's that pressure. But sometimes we both know this, that we don't really have any ideas. How do you deal with that?
I guess, for me, sometimes, ito yung random parang what I feel lang talaga. Kumbaga, nag-i-spark lang siya out of nowhere from my mind, and na-realize ko na it's based from my experience din.
Mhm.
And then, nagulat ako doon na kasi ang una kong naging goal is to express nga. And nagulat ako na hindi lang pala ako yung naka-feel noon.
Mm.
Kumbaga, basically, ang naging contents ko is from what I feel, my emotions, and my experiences. And hindi lang pala ako yung nakapagdaan nun, hindi lang pala ako yung na-experience nun. Marami rin palang tao. And then actually, I get inspired from a lot of people then online. Nakita ko ng random post. And then, parang inaano ko rin siya, pinaprocess ko rin na, how can I express this through myself? Kumbaga kung ganito niya in-express yung content niya, for example, ako, paano ko naman siya i-express?
Mhm.
And, ayun, kumbaga, Tol is a product of different people then. And mostly, ang gusto kong pagpasalamatan is my audience.
Mhm.
Di ba? Yung audience mo, dun ka lang din kumukuha ng content. From their comments, from their thoughts, from their pinagdadaanan as well. Dun ka lang din makakuha Na ang galing lang din kasi para siyang chain na I express what you feel, you tell me what you feel, and then parang mag-chain reaction lang siya until yung relativity talaga nandun. Nakarelate ako sa'yo, nakarelate ka sa akin, and then let's do this.
Yeah, I think
Ganun yung nangyari.
yeah, we get a lot of inspiration, but most importantly, what you mentioned, na we just need to express ourselves, and then people can connect with it. I remember a quote that I always tell then to people, that the more personal the more personal it becomes, the more universal it gets, right? So sometimes you just really need to be yourself, be your authentic self, and then people would connect with what you're really trying to
Exactly.
say, right? And so a lot of your content is talking about mental health. Um, when was the time that you realized na this is something that you want to talk about?
That is actually a good question. Alam mo, Alec, before, ako rin hindi ako naniniwala sa mental health na
Yeah.
yan. Nung mga ano ko pa, nung mga kabataan ko pa. Although bata pa rin naman ako.
Nung mga kapanahunan
Nung mga
namin.
panahunan ko pa. Hindi, kasi nung, umbaga, although Gen Zs na kami, unaware pa kami. Kasi we had this company. Lagi tayong may kasama, palagi tayong, kumbaga, wala tayong time to reflect ourselves. Hindi tayo nagkakaroon ng time to think about the life we are having. And then, boom, pandemic came. One day, you are alone in your room. Nakahiga ka, nakatulala ka. And then, you get to realize how hard it is to live. And parang doon ako na-remind din na, totoo pala. Kumbaga, akala ko dati, gino-joke ko lang. Kumbaga, for example, pag may nakikita ako sa FB dati na post, nung hindi pa ako aware sa mental health problem, for example, there is someone saying that he or she is depressed, parang, wala yan, mababaw lang yan. Gawa-gawa mo lang yan. To be honest, naging ganun din ako. Kumbaga, like the boomers nowadays na nagsasabi na it's not real, trust me, it is real. Kaya siya hindi alarming or kaya maraming unaware kasi hindi siya pinag-uusapan.
Mhm.
Kaya hindi natin alam yung mental health kasi basically hindi natin siya pinag-uusapan. And then, ayun, one day, out of nowhere, nasa room ako nakahiga. And then, parang naiyak na lang ako bigla. I had my first breakdown when I got to realize, kumbaga, how hard it is to think about my future. How hard it is to think what I've did in the past. And how hard it is for me to cope up in the present.
Mhm.
Kumbaga, pag yan tatlo inisip mo na, ang hirap na. That is where overthinking comes. That is where overthinking comes in. And then, para siyang, it's either mabablanko ka or magsosobrahan ka ng iniisip. Ganun. And then, nung nangyari sa akin yun, parang, na-realize ka na, yeah, this thing is real. This thing is real. Hindi mo siya malalaman na totoo unless ikaw yung maharamdam. Unless ikaw yung maharanas. And sa lahat ng mga nakikinig sa amin ngayon, we would like to remind you that your mental health problem, whatever you're going through, is valid. Not because ikaw yung naharamdam niyan, ikaw lang yung nakaranas niyan, kundi nandito kami, ako mismo, na si Tol, nakaranas niyan. Maski si Alec, for sure, nakaranas niyan. And, kumbaga, we are just trying to resonate, we are just trying to remind you the things we never got to remind ourselves. Kumbaga, kung ganito ako aware that time, I think I could have done better.
Mhm.
Kung ganito na ako ka-aware, kung ganito na ako ka-matured at that moment, I think mas na-handle ko. At that time, to be honest, this is trigger warning to all. And I feel like I'm not the only one who got to experience this. There was a moment na I think I thought of ending it all. Di ko na sabihin yung exact word. Then, trigger warning lang din. And, kumbaga, that time, that shaky feeling, kumbaga, that numb feeling, parang namamanhid ka na nanginginig ka na when you're thinking of it. Pero, kumbaga, di ba, inisip nila that's the only solution. But no, sana sa mga nakikinig sa amin tonight, today, na nakakaranas ng ganun of thinking that they want to end it all, just continue. Please continue. Kasi you'll never know where you will be a year from now. And ako, to be honest, never ko in-expect na nagiging ganito ako a year from now.
Yeah.
You will really never know unless you'll continue. Ayun.
I love that. Thank you so much for your story and sharing that with our audience as well. And it really resonated with me saying that we don't really have much platforms, talking about mental health. But
Exactly.
this is exactly what we need to be doing. It's real, it exists, and that's why we need to have more conversations. Kaya nga, when I saw your content, I was like, wow, finally, someone that the younger generations can actually relate to, right? I'm doing my best, right? Talking in front of a camera, talking about mental health. But, we need more content
Yeah.
creators that talk about more positivity, more of mental health, just trying to raise awareness. And then I saw your content, which was really, really great. It was really, really attracting to not just the Gen Zs, but also the millennials and the boomers as well, because it's really fun looking at, but there's a message behind it. And also with what you said, I'm sure you're not the only one who experienced that. I experienced that as well. I think all of the people who have been listening on Small Talk really knows me from, from my rock bottom, because I just really tell my rock bottom every single time I get to tell it. But yeah, it's just, that feeling of numbness,
Yeah.
that feeling that everything's like black and white, and you just didn't know whether you can move forward. But again, if you just try to live, or try to push forward one more day, just one more day, and then you'd realize that you take it day by day, and then you'd see that, okay, I've actually gone so far, and I'm experiencing a lot of things that I wouldn't be
Mm,
able to experience if I gave up back then,
exactly.
right? So thank you so much for sharing that. And now I want to touch on a little bit about your podcast, The Yellow Space. What pushed you to start your own podcast? Because as an artist, as an illustrator, I think it's kind of two different elements.
Mhm.
One is you're just writing and you're very good at it, drawing, illustrating, and the other one is expressing it through
Mm.
words. What pushed you to start your own podcast?
Actually, ano kasi, as a mental health advocate, pinaka nag-push talaga sa akin mag-podcast is, for me, ano na-realize ko na it's not enough for me to speak or to advocate or to express my mental health beliefs from art lang or for
Mhm.
doing this art lang. Gusto ko siya i-voice out. Literally.
Yeah.
Kaya binoise out ko siya literally through podcasting. And as someone who is insecure, actually, sobrang insecure din ako sa voice ko before. Nahihiya ako sa boses ko. Kapag naririnig ko yung boses ko pag nag-record ako. Kumbaga nahihiya ako. And then I got to try it out, and then a lot of people said that my voice was calming, kumbaga soothing, and parang nagpushyahan yun. And this is not only for me to talk about my passion. Gusto ko lang din i-push lahat ng nakikinig sa amin right now na whatever you're thinking, mapa-vlogging man yan, posting artworks, anything that came from your passion, just do it. Mm-mm. You will really never know kung kailan kayo magbo-boom, kung kailan kayo magpa-pop up, kung kailan kayo magiging relevant. The only thing you know is you love what you're doing. And I love what I'm doing. Maliban sa may essence, maliban sa may meaning, maliban sa may cause, I do it for myself because I love doing this. Kumbaga, it makes me feel alive. Not only I am passionate of it, this is my thing. So, ang mission ko sa inyo, assignment ko sa mga nakikinig tonight is find your thing. And in order for you to find that is root it out from your passion. Mapa-speaking, mapa-art yan, mapa-anything. Anything. You will really never know kung kailan talaga. Kasi ako sinorman naman din ako. I'm just a simple guy lang then trying to express my thoughts from my artwork, from speaking, from podcasting. I never knew that I will reach this stage one day. And I just got to wake up na, yeah, this is the product of what I did. This is the product of the process I've been through. Ayun.
Yeah, I love that. Follow your passion, follow what makes you happy, follow the things that makes you basically give you joy and peace and all of that. But I want to ask more on that. How were you able to cultivate that kind of passion? How, like, did you grow up thinking that I really love drawing, or
Mm.
is it something that you cultivated along the way?
Actually, nag-start ako mag-draw, nag-start ako mag-art when I was in grade 1, first grade.
Mhm.
Yeah. And this is a super random thing, pero kasi yung dinrawing ko that time, it's in something a grade 1 would draw. Feeling ko nga, hindi sa I feel like I was a psychopath kasi nag-drawing ako ng cannibal or something, like a zombie thing. Imagine a first grade student drawing a zombie. Who would think of that? Natuwa tuloy ako. It's a super random thing kasi. And then, that time, di ako nag-focus on what I draw.
Mhm.
I focus that I can draw.
Mm.
Yeah. Ang bagay, ganun nag-down yan. And then, tinali-tuloy ko siya, nag-join ako ng various contests as I was growing up. Naalala ko, naging editorial cartoonist ako ng publication namin. And nakakakot naman ako kahit pa paano achievements. And ang pinangahawakan ko talaga, para hindi kayo magsawa sa ginagawa nyo, is do not think of what you are doing. Kumbaga, kasi if mag-focus kayo on the duration, on the details, kumbaga sa pagod nyo on doing it, magsawa talaga kayo. Think of why you are doing it.
Mhm.
Ganun yung pinangahawakan ko na hindi ako nag-focus on the stuff, on the baga busy things that I'm doing. Iniisip ko kung bakit ko siya ginagawa.
Mhm.
And kapag naiisip ko yun na I'm doing this for my future self, I'm doing this for other people, I'm doing this to basically express what I feel, baga parang nawawala yung pagod. Kasi again, I'm not thinking of what I'm doing. I'm thinking of why I'm doing it. And siguro doon talaga mag-i-start yung passion mo kapag hindi ka na nagpo-focus sa ginagawa mo eh. Kumbaga, pag hindi ka na nagpo-focus sa mga nagiging result, sa mga failures mo, nag-focus ka kung bakit mo siya ginagawa. Doon dapat nagro-root. And doon ako ngayon nangahawa kung bakit ko siya ginagawa. I found my reason. Yeah, ayun.
And what is that reason?
For me to validate myself and to validate other people.
I love that.
Yeah.
Great answer. Great insight as
Mm.
well. And I totally agree with what you said. Not just looking at the results. The results, if they're for you, they'll come, right? But again,
It's the process.
you just need to trust the process.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Mm.
You need to trust the process and figure out, are you really enjoying it? Because the word passion literally means to suffer, right?
Mm.
Compassion means to suffer with. So if you're compassionate towards others, you're suffering with other
Yeah.
people. But passion, something that we're always told, follow your passion, find your passion. But passion means to suffer.
Mm.
So what are you willing to suffer for, right?
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
that's basically the
that's
question that we
yeah.
need to ask. Not a lot of people think like find your passion, like, oh, this is something nice, this is something good. No.
Mm.
Find your passion means what do you want to do even when it gets hard,
Mm.
even if it hurts you, even if you're lazy and unmotivated, you're still willing to do it.
Mm.
And if you find that, that's your passion. And I just love how you mentioned it that no, I didn't look at what I what I
Mm.
drew. I looked at, oh wait, I can.
Yeah, exactly.
I can
Mm.
draw. So you have drawn a lot from your experience.
Yeah.
But I want to ask, what is your best or what is your favorite artwork?
Tol.
Tol.
Tol,
And why?
yeah.
Why?
Actually,
aside from the fact that it gave
Yeah.
you your status.
actually, Tol is, yung mismong character ni Tol, binis ko siya sa akin.
Mm.
Kumbaga, if makita nyo, if may cellphone kayo ngayon, you can see it. Yung orange marks niya sa cheeks, it is my insecurity sa face ko.
Oh,
Yeah, my
wow.
acne marks and pimples and stuff. And then, the hair stuff was my hair as well. Kumbaga, Tol is the reflection of me.
Mhm.
Tol is the ideal version of myself. Kumbaga, yeah. And what he says, actually, nung una dinidifferentiate ko siya from me, na Tol is different from me. Kasi ako, I'm in the process of being that guy, of being that yellow guy. Kasi I'm not there yet eh. Kumbaga, Tol is someone who can validate other people and can see his worth as well. Ako, di ko pa kaya yun na, kumbaga, as much as I validate other people, nandun pa rin ako sa process of accepting myself, forgiving myself, and thinking of my worth. And kaya siguro siya yung naging favorite artwork ko so far kasi it gave me a reason why I should continue making art. Kumbaga, kung siya nga nagkakaroon ng impact sa ibang tao, for sure, what I did can have a huge impact on myself as well. I'm still on that journey. I'm still on that process. And I'm loving the process. Just like what you've said earlier. When you have something you love doing or when you are passionate enough, you are willing to suffer for it. And I'm willing to do anything just for me to get there. And
Mhm.
actually, success isn't where you are going. It's what you're doing.
Yeah.
It's the process itself. Doon mo ma-realize na, yeah, this is what I live for. And this thing makes me feel alive.
Tol, how old are you again?
Would you believe me if I say that I'm only 20?
Holy crap, you're
Yeah.
20 years old?
Yeah. Totoo ba?
20 years old.
Yeah.
Okay, wow. Okay. Let me just look back. What am I doing when I was 20 years old? Yeah, I was partying and drinking out a lot. I guess that was me. I didn't know
I was
where
just about to say getting high.
I was getting high, objection, hearsay. We'll never know if that's true, but I was doing a lot of bad
Yeah.
shit back then, but
Mm.
I didn't really know. But it's so nice and so refreshing to hear that at a very early age. And I know, let's talk about it a little bit later, but I know that you're really, really lucky that you have found something that you really want to do, because a lot of people spend maybe most of their lifetimes trying to find that thing. But now, as same with me, we're one of those fortunate people that, okay, I enjoy this and I'm gonna do this, right?
Mm.
Regardless of what other people think,
Mm.
regardless if it's not paying so well, I am going to do this. And I'm just so happy about that. But I want to ask, well, who are your inspirations? Because I'm sure you got a lot of inspirations along the way. Did you have any mentors? Did you have influential people in your life that really help you and support you throughout the process?
Teka, I'm going to think of it. First of all, I'd like to thank my mother. She is a very empowered woman. Kumbaga, kasi growing up, my father passed away at the early age of mine. Kumbaga, ilang taon pa lang ata ako. Nasa grade 6 pa lang ata ako nawala tatay ko. Kumbaga, that time, of course, may muwang na ako. Pero I'm still young.
Mhm.
But my mom was there and she became my inspiration na, kumbaga, kung kinaya niya nga eh. Kinaya niya na to raise us. 4 kami magkakapatid by herself. And naisip ko na, yeah, ang galing pala talaga ng mga tao. Kumbaga, yung capabilities ba ng isang tao. And not only that, I'd just like to give a huge shout out to all mothers as well. Na siguro for me, the toughest job out there is being a mom.
Yeah.
Kumbaga, eto pa, lalo na papalapit yung Father's Day. Gusto ko lang din siya batiin ng Father's Day kasi she's a mother and a father in one person. And I'd like to thank her for giving me this life, for giving me this kind of talent. Kumbaga, hindi ko marirealize yung talent ko if hindi niya rin nire-remind. She was there at my lowest. Kaya she deserves me at my best.
Mhm.
Yeah. And if there are people I'd like to thank to that inspired me, ako kasi parang ano akong likot ng utak ko eh. Malikot akong
Yeah.
tao. Malikot ako. Gusto ko kumo-connect sa iba't ibang tao and then get their thinking, get their mindset. And then ako yung bahala mag-compile. And I had my mentors when I was starting art, when I was starting, lalo na ngayon nag-college ako, I had a lot of mentors. But ang pinaka gusto kong pagpasalamatan, ang pinaka gusto kong, pinaka nag-inspire sa akin is my younger self.
Mhm.
Yeah, that person was my mentor in a way na, if I'm going to say right now, yung inner child ko ba, siya yung nagpupush sa akin na mas galingan mo pa
Mhm.
kasi marami na deprive sa'yo.
Mhm.
Galingan mo pa kasi marami kang hindi nakuha nung bata ka. Galingan mo pa, mas pasayahin mo yung inner child mo, mas pasayahin mo yung batang ikaw. And if I'm going to talk to him right now, I can say that that child, yung bata na yun, kahit pa paano proud na siya sa akin. Kaya ayun, sa mga nakikinig sa amin ngayon, make your inner child proud. Sana, if by chance makausap niyo yung batang kayo, sana proud sila sa inyo. Kumbaga, yun yung isipin niyo. If whatever shit you're doing right now, if iisipin niyo na, paano kaya ako makakausap ko yung batang ako? Ano kaya yung masasabi niya sa akin? Will that boy, will that girl, will that little child would be disappointed of me or will be proud of me? Ayun, siguro, that's a great answer.
I love that.
Yeah.
That is a great answer. And minsan sinasabi natin na make your mama proud, but also like make your inner child proud,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Make your inner child proud. And I love that.
Mm.
You know, you're not just about talking mental health, but you're really allowing people to understand that, oh, there's this concept called the inner child and we need to take care of it. And I just love how we touched that on this episode. And thank you so much for sharing your stories, sharing your wisdom and your vulnerability here on the show as well. But before I actually let you go, I'm gonna ask 2 more questions. And I'm gonna ask this to everyone that I'm gonna be talking to. So my first last question doesn't make sense. My first last question is, what's the worst advice you have ever received?
Worst advice that I ever received. Wow, I never thought of that. Kakayanin mo sa sarili mo lahat.
Ang ganda.
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
I get to realize na hindi ko kakayanin to if it weren't from the help of other people. Hindi ko kaya. Kasi sinasabi nila 'di ba na kaya mo mag-isa, kaya mo i-push lahat mag-isa. I'm tired of being alone.
Yeah.
Takot ako mag-isa. Kahit independent ka na kahit kaya mo na yung sarili mo on how matured you are. No person kaya matiis of being alone.
Yeah.
And when I say alone, kahit sarili mo na hindi mo na maramdaman, kahit sarili mo hindi mo na makasama. Kumbaga, ganun yung feeling of alone eh. You're there, but you're not existing.
Mm-hmm.
You're there barely breathing. You're there physically present, but the rest of yourself is absent.
Mm-mm.
Kaya siguro siya yung worst advice. Kasi if tinake ko yun, na kaya ko lahat mag-isa, siguro in-isolate ko na yung self ko forever. Siguro kinat off ko na lahat ng tao sa paligid ko. And naniniwala ako na if wala yung mga taong sumusuporta sa akin, if wala yung mga taong naniniwala sa akin, wala ako dito.
Mm-hmm.
And I just like to say thank you to them. Thank you to all the listeners we have right now. Kasi kung wala kayo, wala kami ni Alec dito, wala ako dito. Baga, ang galing lang din kasi the way you support us and the way we give back to you, nagbe-benefit sa atin both.
Yeah.
And it's a cool project wherein may mga ganito palang tao no, na kausap mo about mental health. Kasi if dyan ka lang sa mga kalsada dadaan, wala kang kakasalubong ay tol, usap tayo about mental health. Wala, di ba? And it's really cool that there are people existing that wants to provide this kind of stuff, that wants to talk about the stuff we are not talking about. And yun din, i-connect ko siya na if wala kami, sino na lang magre-remind? If wala yung mga taong tulad namin, gaano na maging ignorant yung mga tao? Kumbaga, it is not only us expressing it, it's not only us trying to prove our egos. It is us trying to provide the things na kailangan din namin. Kumbaga, nagre-reflect din siya talaga sa atin. And, ayun, may gusto rin akong ano ba yung next question? My favorite quote naman.
Yes. What is actually, that's the
Okay.
last question. What is the best advice you have ever received?
You should live to express and not to impress.
Hmm.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to do right now. Kasi impressing a lot of people, impressing other people, impressing expectations will just drain you. That is why my goal is to express, is to live the life I have. And ayun, sa mga nakikinig sa amin today, na ayun, kumbaga, live your life to the fullest. Whatever you're going through, just live. Just live. You will never know, kahit you're having the worst day of your life. Trust me, that's not the worst day. That's not the worst day yet. May mas worse pa dyan. And if you're having the best day of your life, again, that is not your best day yet. There's so much more to come. Kaya, ayun, live to express and not to impress. And if there's one person you can impress the past version of you. Impress the future version of you while you are living in the present. And ayun, thank you.
Yeah, that's amazing. That's amazing, Todd. Thank you so much for sharing those kinds of words here on the show. But before I let you go, please invite them to listen to your show and let them know where they could find you.
Again, this is your Yellow Guy Tol, leaving you with the word spread yellow, be happy, be kind, and I hope that you'll get to find your own yellow as well. And you can follow me on my Facebook, Twitter, IG. Isa lang naman yung username ko at Valid Emotions mo. Or simply just search Tol. And you can find the Yellow Space podcast in the Spotify. Nasa Spotify, yeah. And ayun, it is also a Spotify exclusive. And bago ako umalis, gusto ko lang din mag-thank you kay Kuya Alec for inviting me on this wondrous show, on this amazing show. Kasi this is not only a podcast. This is not only, we are not just talking about, we are basically exchanging our souls right here. We are exchanging the product of the blood, sweat, tears we sacrifice just for us to be mentally aware right now. Just for us to have the guts to be brave enough to talk about this kind of things. And ayun, kumbaga, this kind of people really motivates me more. Na this person that I'm in front with is amazing one. Kumbaga, I see myself in him in a way na this dude right here. This dude right here. I have no words, but yeah. Sana pare-pares tayo maging mentally aware.
Yeah.
Kumbaga, remind yourself, remind the people around you that their emotions are valid, that the mental health thing is real. And why I'm saying spread yellow, it's not just to spread happiness. Kumbaga, di ba yellow is happiness? It is basically to spread awareness on what you feel, on what they feel. And ayun, maraming salamat. Maraming salamat sa pakikinig.
Maraming salamat. No, thank you. It is my honor and I'm very humbled to hear those words coming from you. You inspire me as well. You push me to, become better. I saw you get that Spotify exclusive, and I told PNA, I'm next. I'm next.
And you're there.
And now I got there.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
you also push me. You also inspire me. And thank you so much for your time and your energy and everything that you're doing online. I really appreciate you. And thank you for saying yes to be on the show. And of course, thank you to everyone who listened to the podcast. If you like this episode, go ahead and share this on Instagram. Do not forget to tag me at Alec Cuenca. If you have any notes, questions, comments, suggestions, I love reading them. Go ahead and send them again on my Instagram at Alec Cuenca. And yeah, thank you so much for listening. I hope that you go check out the other amazing episodes we have here on Small Talk, exclusive on Spotify. And again, my name is Alec Cuenca. This is Small Talk, small conversations with huge impact. And I'll talk to you guys next episode. Bye-bye.